Do we look okay? I think we look okay. Okay, today I am going to be talking about self-love. And I think that self-love really means different things to so many different people. And I just want to give you my take on it. I want to talk about the way that I have built more and more self-love in my life and how you can too. Welcome to episode 4 of the channel. My name's Rosie. I'm a business and mindset mentor for female entrepreneurs, and I help them to build more fun, freedom, and fulfillment in their lives through building powerful online brands. I wonder if I'll be saying welcome to episode 2768 of the channel in like 2 years, who knows. So today I want to talk about self-love, what it means to me, what it may mean to you, and how you can have more of it in your life. Honestly, I think self-love for me is just about accepting who you are, where you are, what you look like, being more forgiving of yourself, and just not being so fucking mean. Doing things that you know will make you feel good and not basing your worth on what you look like. I think before I had this perception and I thought that self-love was all about loving what you look like, loving what you saw in the mirror, and that's when it became extremely difficult for me because I based my worth on what I saw in the mirror. And whether or not that was, beautiful, or society said it was beautiful, or what other people thought of it, all of those things. And I think that can be a huge struggle nowadays, especially for young men and women that, have social media. It's really, really hard because we have this perception of perfect, and really perfect doesn't exist. I think life is about being wonderfully imperfect and just being you and embracing that. So if you are watching this video and you're somebody that wakes up and speaks negatively to yourself, or just kind of beat yourself up for little things on the daily, or you talk to yourself and you say things like, I'm so bad at this, this is wrong with me, I wish I looked like that, why can't I do this, this person's better than me, then I'm really, really hoping that this video helps you today, just to become a little bit more accepting and forgiving and just kinder to yourself. The first thing that I want to go into before I kind of go on this journey of how I found solutions and ended up feeling better, and how you can too, is just about how I was feeling before. Okay, so a few years ago, I used to hate what I saw in the mirror. I used to talk very negatively to myself. I used to do things that weren't necessarily good for me. And it was a bit of a cycle, really. So I would speak to myself badly, look at myself badly, treat myself badly, feel really, really bad. I don't know if you guys can relate to that. I think from a young age, I had this perception of myself that I was different, that I was maybe annoying, maybe dramatic. I didn't like visually what I saw, and I labelled myself as fat, for example, ugly. I used to think that, I remember actually when I was younger, my mum spoke to me once in the car and she said to me, Rosie, if you're this horrible, terrible monster, why do you think, and listed some things, basically evidence to say the opposite. And I was like, do you know what? I think that happens because people feel sorry for me. And that was genuinely what I believed. I just thought people felt sorry for me, and that's why they were nice to me, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, in this cycle that I was living in, I then started letting the relationships around me kind of affect me too. So because I was in this cycle of, I lacked self-worth, I lacked self-esteem, I kind of allowed people to treat me badly as well. And I think that's something that I see quite a lot with, younger and older women and men. And I think that when we lack self-esteem, we really struggle to accept more because we don't feel like we deserve it. And I think that we kind of like find it very difficult to set boundaries, because I think setting boundaries is saying, I am valuable, I am worthy of the space that I'm taking up, and I'm protecting my energy. But when you don't value yourself, and when you have no, when you lack self-esteem and self-worth, it's really, really hard to put those boundaries in place and step up and protect your energy. That's really difficult. So I'm not going to go into a full story, but basically I ended up in probably like the lowest space that I've ever been in my whole life a few years ago. And I was drinking quite a lot, and I was going out quite a lot, and I was accepting like rubbish relationships. And it was a really hard pill to swallow, but I had a conversation with someone that I barely knew, and they said to me like, you are accepting this behavior and you're choosing to be in this situation. And that for me was a wake-up call. And I'm not saying that, you know, we're all going to have these epiphanies, we're going to have these breakthroughs, and then our whole life is going to change. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer for some people, but that really taught me that every single thing that was going on in my life was down to me. That might be a bad thing, but it's also a really, really positive thing. Okay, do you know why? Because you have the power to change it. So if you're sat there right now and you don't feel like you can set boundaries in your life, or you don't love yourself, or you lack self-worth and self-esteem, I want you to know that the really, really great thing about this is you have the power to change it. It is all within your control. And literally from this moment on, you can learn slowly and gradually how to change this, so that in 6 months or a year, you do actually love every single bit of your being, and you treat yourself with respect. So for me, self-love is doing the things that I deserve. It's knowing that I deserve exercise every day. It's knowing that I deserve healthy, nutritious food. It's knowing that I deserve half an hour in the morning that is just for me and my thoughts and my reflection and my mindset. Because this is where I live. This is my home, and it's yours too. Your body, your mind, that's your home. That's where you live, and that's what you're going to have for the rest of your life. So if you're somebody that kind of lacks self-love right now, I want you to think about how you can be more accepting of yourself, more forgiving towards yourself, but also what can you do every single day to prioritize you and make you feel good? What can you do to tell yourself that you do love yourself today? Because trust me, that's not going to be something that makes you feel really, really bad. If you are somebody that really wants to learn how to love themselves more, I want you to look at your life. I want you to look at your daily habits, your routines, things that you do, the people that you surround yourself with, and the content that you consume. And I don't mean, you know, like on Instagram. I mean the music, the news, the television, anything that goes into your brain, the books that you're reading, the people that you follow. Yeah, like the things on Instagram as well. Do those things make you feel good? Like, do they really make you feel good? Because if you have things in your life that you're consuming every single day, that you're doing every single week, that don't make you feel good, you've got the power to change it, okay? Now I want you to think about when you feel your best, when you feel so confident, or when you last felt so confident. And I know this can be really, really difficult if you're in a space right now where you don't feel great, or you don't feel confident, you don't feel like the best version of yourself. But when did you? When did you feel excited? When did you feel accomplished? When did you feel proud of yourself? How can you do more of that? If you wake up every single morning and speak to yourself badly, can you start reframing that? Okay, when I talk about mindset work, when I talk about breakthroughs, things like that, it's the tiny things every single day that lead to these breakthroughs in reflection. It's the tiny things you do. It's your daily habits that make the difference. It's like I always say, it's not this huge thing where you have a breakthrough and then your life changes. It's genuinely in the morning making a conscious effort to be like, I'm not tolerating that anymore. I'm making it a non-negotiable to sit down with a journal and look for things that I can be grateful for. Look for things that I love about myself, okay? Because if you're sat here watching this video now, you're obviously invested in yourself. You're obviously invested in your future and you want to make change. And that's a great thing. That's a beautiful thing. So I know that it can feel like you're stuck and you'll never get out of this cycle, but you will. You will get out of this cycle and you will feel better, but it starts with you. It's not going to start with anyone else around you. It all starts with you, what you tolerate, the boundaries you set, the non-negotiables you have in your life. That's where it begins. So a couple of things that completely changed the game for me, and hopefully they will for you too. If you're somebody that struggles with self-love, if you're somebody that struggles with accepting yourself, forgiving yourself, honouring your journey, then please take on these couple of things that I'm about to talk to you about next. One simple question changed my life and can change yours too, okay? I actively started asking myself this, and it actually started about 2 or 3 years ago. Every single day, I just asked myself, okay, is this thing gonna make me feel good? And I'm not saying that from now forward you should only do absolutely anything that's going to make you feel good and rule out anything that, may have different consequences. Sometimes, you want to go out with friends and drink alcohol and, you're not going to feel the best the next day. It's fine, it's part of life. But if you actively ask yourself, is this thing going to make me feel good? You're making a conscious effort of doing things that make you feel great. And then as a result of that, you are going to start loving yourself a little bit more. Does surrounding myself with that person make me feel good? Does looking at this person's profile make me feel good? Does engaging in this conversation make me feel good? Does being quiet and not saying what I think make me feel good? Like, really ask yourself those things. And if the answer is no, more often than not, then I think that's when you need to look at, reevaluate the things that you have going on in your life and think about how you can start making a change with that. The next thing I really want you to bear in mind is, we hear this so much, but it's just so true. Not everything that you see online is real, and fortunately we do have social media because it enables me to spread this message, you to, access all different sorts of things that are positive, but it also makes it seem like perfect is easy and perfect is normal. Perfect doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Life can be hard, relationships can be difficult, setting boundaries is difficult, loving your body is hard, working out every day is difficult. It's part of life, but this is where forgiveness and honouring comes in. Honouring that where you are right now is exactly where you are meant to be and you're doing your best, okay? When you start to realise that, when you start to realise that, yes, she's there, yes, he's doing that, but what you're doing is what you need in your life right now, that's when your life changes. That's when you start to be more accepting. And when you're more accepting, you speak to yourself better. You start treating yourself better. You start feeling better. From this video today, I want you to take away some action steps. Okay, so I really, really want this to be valuable for you. And I want you to go away and sit down with a pen and paper. Just take 20 minutes out of your day. Make yourself a cup of tea and sit down and really make a list of all of the things that make you feel amazing in life, okay? Think back to when you felt your best and write about that, okay? And then in reflection, on the other side, I want you to write about the things that don't make you feel good in life. Your areas of development, things that you would love to change, things that you want to take out of your life or things that you want to work on. And then I want you to put that into your day-to-day. How can you bring more of this into your life? And I'm not saying that you need to have all boxes ticked straight away, okay? But gradually making them a habit. Do you want to journal every morning? Start doing it once a week. Do you want to meditate more? Invest in meditation. Make it a 5-minute a day thing. Do you want to start talking to yourself better? Start actively reframing those thoughts. Make a habit of when you wake up in the morning, having your journal next to your bed so that you can say, right, anything that comes up in my head right now, I'm going to write down, look for evidence to say the opposite if it is negative, and reframe that thought. Okay, I'd love it if you went away and really worked on this and started to make small change so that you can learn to love yourself a little bit more. Because honestly, loving yourself is a great thing. And when you start doing it, you'll start inspiring others to do the same too. I really hope this video was valuable. I hope that I've helped someone to take the first steps to loving themselves. Please, if you enjoyed this, hit subscribe, leave me your feedback in the comments. Alternatively, come and have a chat with me over on Instagram at Rosie_coaching. Thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you.